We're on a flying trip today, just south of Hanover, Indiana, and we caught up with Judy Birchler. And Judy, you're pretty well recognized in the flying community. Well, Judy, a little bit about you. What got you interested in flying, and specifically taildraggers?
If I had to pick one tiny moment in time that got me interested, I went to Europe when I was a teenager, and I was so excited about the flight over, flying on a commercial flight. They let me sit jump seat, and the pilot and the co-pilot and the crew were so nice and explaining what aviation was about and encouraging me, and so that kind of got me going in this direction, I guess.
And then when did you actually start?
Well, I was skydiving. I was doing some skydiving, and coincidentally during that period of time, I met a guy that 7 years later turned out to be my husband, but at the time he was on the verge of buying an Aranca Chief. He bought a 1947 Aranca Chief and learned to fly in it, and then I got to learn to fly in a Chief out of a Skyline Airport in Evansville, out of that little grass strip. And after I got my license, I bought a 1/3 interest in a 1940 Porterfield and flew the devil out of that. And then I decided I needed my own airplane, so I bought a 1946 Cessna 140. And I flew that many hours.
How did this champ come into your life?
I have to back up and tell you that I had a period of my life that I was not able to fly. After my daughter was born, I came down with type 1 diabetes, and back when that happened, that meant an instant you're not going to fly. You lose your medical. And so I had a long period of time when medicals were not available to people with type 1 diabetes. 3.5 years ago, decided that now is the time. You know, I can get a medical now. It's just a matter of doing it. And so got a medical, went out to Maine, bought this airplane, flew it 2.5 days back from Rockport, Maine, back to Indianapolis, Mount Comfort Airport. And I've been flying it ever since, having a great time in it.
Well, this little champ has a 90 horsepower engine. What model?
Yes, it is. It's an FC/EC. This particular airplane is a 1958 with a C90, and it used to be a nose wheel. They made Champion Aircraft Corporation made this in 1958, and somebody wisely put the wheel back where it belongs in the back of the airplane at some point.
Learning how to fly a conventional gear airplane really opens up a whole new world for a pilot.
Oh, it certainly does. Now, I learned in a conventional gear in a taildragger, and it's much easier to go and fly a nose wheel airplane. If you learn in a nose wheel airplane and then you have to fly a taildragger, it's a whole new learning experience for you. You don't just hop in them and take off. You need some experience. You need somebody to fly with you. You need some instruction. But luckily, I learned in a taildragger, and it's what I love to do.
You have a website. Tell us about this new website.
I have a website called Ladies Love Taildraggers, and it's about women that like to have fun flying their taildraggers. That's the core mission of the website, to involve more women in taildragger flying and get people actively involved in getting out there, getting off of the sofa and getting out there, spend some time in the air and having a good time at it.
So you're encouraging ladies to fly, but specifically taildraggers, because it opens up a whole new world.
Well, taildraggers are sort of a niche, and there aren't that many taildragger pilots, period, out there. And there's even fewer women taildragger pilots. And it all started because I was trying to find other women to fly with. I'm based at Mount Comfort Airport in Indianapolis, and there were no other taildragger pilots, women. And so I started this website just sort of with selfish ideas to find a couple other women to fly with. And because it's the internet, and the internet goes everywhere, before I knew it, I had women responding from California and the East Coast and down south and Canada, everywhere, and it just sort of took me by surprise and took off, and it's been a wonderful thing.
Well, Judy, you know, the airplanes are great, but isn't it really about the people?
Oh, it's always about the people. I've met so many wonderful, interesting women doing this, men and women both. And the incredible thing is how passionate most of these women are with flying taildraggers. I don't know what the difference is between a nose gear airplane, and maybe those women are just as passionate, but I can assure you that the women that fly taildraggers don't love anything any more than that.
Well, Judy, on the web, www.ladieslovetaildraggers.com.
That's exactly right. LadiesLoveTaildraggers.com. And if you forget, Google ladies and taildraggers or ladies love, I assure you it will come up. Well, if you go to the website, it's a very picture-heavy website. And probably because I love seeing the women, I love seeing the pictures of their airplanes, I like seeing them with them, I like seeing the women flying about. And so when I set it up, I specifically set it up so that the women would send me information about where they're based, what kind of airplane they fly, what kind of flying they like to do, and send me pictures. We're offering t-shirts now, and I'm looking forward to the day that I'm traveling around and I actually see people wearing them.
And we sure appreciated your visit, you and your husband, to this year's Fly-In Cruise-In. And it was a little challenging this year with the crosswinds. We had 20 gusting to 30 miles per hour direct crosswinds on runway 22 and 4. What do you think about the pilots that came this year? We were down on airplanes, but those who came, I was so grateful.
Ray, you had the best of the best pilots this year. You really did, because to fly that day, you had to be a confident pilot and know you could do it. If there was any doubt in a pilot's mind, they were worried about winds, they were not going to even be up in the sky that day. So you truly did have the best of the best. And I have to tell you, I got my little share and I got as close to the runway as I could get, and I sat there for 2 hours. I actually started drawing a crowd, I was there by myself, and then people started gathering around, and we were just in awe of the piloting skills that everybody, for the most part, everybody that landed had. Just incredible.
Well, Judy, what we'd like to see you do is get all these ladies that's on your website together in Marion for the Fly-In Cruise-In. It'd just be a great homecoming.
Well, we did have a Lady Love Taildragger fly-in for the first time at Marion Airport in Dayton, Ohio this year, and we had a really wonderful turnout. But we'll have to put the word out there and see what the gals think about that.
Thank you for your time today, and we'll see you at the next Fly-In Cruise-In.
I will definitely be there, Ray. Thank you for having me here.